said I'd never join.
Thought living on sub would be too hard.
I figured only the weatherman track storms.
I said my job wouldn't matter.
Never knew how strong I was. I never thought this would be my commute.
I figured I'd never get out of my hometown.
Or be the one who stops an attack.
Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is.
Hi, welcome to Vets Chatting with Granny Lisa. I am so excited because I have two special guests here and they are from Florida. Woo! So they're on Eastern Standard Time, so we're doing a little bit early. We are talking about Villagers for Veterans, and Marie is the CEO and Kathryn is the VP. So we are excited to have them come on and share about their program because I have not ever heard of what they are doing specifically for women veterans. And I'm excited to hear that because, as we all know, sometimes our programs, God bless that we have them and that a lot of veterans are taking care of veterans. But it's nice to see that the women veterans are also being taken care of, especially in the issues that they may come against. They are taking all of that into, you're taking it all into consideration. So I'm going to go ahead and say, Marie, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's so wonderful that we were able to communicate.
Yes, thank you. Now, you are the CEO, and so what made you decide to start this organization?
Being a workaholic my whole life and retiring to Florida and not knowing what to do. And so I just researched where I wanted to put some energy, found some very good issues with veterans, and I was compelled to do something. As a result of some fundraisers I did, I got invited to Walter Reed, met about 15 of the most catastrophically injured young kids, and my life changed forever.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure that would do it right there. When you decided to do Ashley's home, am I saying that correctly?
So we have Ashley's house and Ashley's cottage. They're both part of our New Beginnings program for women veterans. So, I mean, we have 4 programs under Villagers for Veterans umbrella, but, and it's been like a work in progress because as I came aware of different issues that veterans face and different challenges, I kind of expanded the programs. So when I found out about all the challenges that women veterans faced and the lack of resources for them to flourish after service, I was really driven to do something for that. And so homeless women veterans was a big issue at the time. I had visited a place that I wasn't comfortable with because it wasn't in a very good area. It just, I felt that it was a terrible thing to have women veterans who are very vulnerable at that time and put them in a place where it's unsafe. So it became my challenge to find a place, a safe place where we could build and put these women in a transition home and help them take everything they learned in the military as well as their experiences in the military and help them find a way into civilian life and to heal, to heal from all the things that most people don't even know that exist.
Exactly. Now, Kathryn, You are a retired Navy officer, and we were talking before the show. You're a Mustang, which now I know what that means.
Correct.
So go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a little bit of your background and how Marie grabbed you and is using you for this fantastic program.
Marie and I met a couple years ago at another event, and she was there talking about an event called the Orchid Gala, which also honors our women veterans, which is actually going on this weekend. It happens to be, but I got to know about her just from there and see her in action, I guess. And I was shocked, that we actually had this going on in what I perceived as my back door. So I retired out of the military in 2016. I'm a combat veteran in Afghanistan, took care of our combat wounded in surgery. So I had a lot of issues, when I got out. And I, with everybody felt very isolated and alone, even though I'm not homeless. I went through a period of life in my early career that I was. So I guess I know those feelings. So when we sat down and we talked, and she was completing a major project, which was building a house for a smart home for a quadriplegic female. And so the next thing I know is she says, when I'm done with this, I want to build a woman veterans only transition house for the homeless. And I thought, what? Really? And, in my years of meeting people, I've never seen anybody do that or even talk about it, dream about it. And, and I tell you what, when it got closer and closer, she's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I was just in awe, and
Right.
so at that point, she asked me, because we were coming out of the villages, if you will, out of the area and into my area, if you will, into my county. And she's like, so you be my VP. And I thought she was crazy. So, because I'm a little wired tight in some places and very loose in others. But, we work well together. She's very much the business side of the house. She has the compassion and passion for what she does, obviously, because nobody in their right mind would have ever started this 9 years ago if they did not have that. And as much as she's done in 9 years, I thought to myself, I consider myself a woman advocate and a veteran advocate. And so when she asked me, and I thought, well, if she could do it, obviously I need to say yes. So, I live every day feeling like I'll fail her. But she knows my heart's in it. So, we work well, even though I'm not business trained. But, I just try to stand behind her. And as I tell her before, I will follow her anywhere because of her commitment to us, period.
Right. I'm really surprised because one, you're not a veteran, Marie.
Mhm.
And to take this on and research and finding out what really is behind the scenes of our women veterans is really, really amazing. Now, I don't like to, I just shoot it straight.
Mhm.
So, what was it that you saw that really tugged at your heart and you said, I have to absolutely take care of these women? Not only was it the places that you saw, but obviously they're broken. What was it that just said, I don't care what it takes, you've got to do it?
Well, I always say that educating is half the process.
Mhm.
I never considered myself a stupid person. I was in business all my life, and yet I was clueless when it came to issues that affected the military and especially women veterans.
Mhm.
So as I learned about the process, I knew that just like me, there was probably millions of people out there that needed to learn. And so a big part of what we do is educate. So in every event that we do, in every program that we pick, a big portion of it is educating those that come by introducing them to veterans that need certain services, that face certain challenges. And it's amazing to see how many people really don't know.
Right.
And so that, to me, that was a big deal, because like I said, I didn't know. And it took me 63 years to find out. And so I think that it's important for people to understand and know that, hey, these people make a commitment the day they sign on the dotted line, have no idea where life is going to take them, have no idea what's going to come of it. And we need to support them. And we need to support all veterans, but there are a lot of support for male veterans, more so than for the women.
That is true.
And I felt that the commitment is the same on their part. And so we needed to bring it to the forefront instead of leaving it in the back burner, waiting for something to happen or not happen.
Yes, I completely agree with you because a lot of female veterans, and I don't know, Kathryn probably will be able to either agree or disagree. They are kind of a breed that doesn't acknowledge a lot because of their experiences in the military. A lot of them have, I have not met a female that has not had some form of MST. And which is, to me, I never realized that until I started doing this. And I am a survivor of MST myself. And so I kept it secret. And it was not until I actually started talking to other vets in different groups, especially the women, that I found out, hey, I'm not alone.
Exactly.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be of rape or any of that. It could just be sexual harassment.
Exactly.
It can be just bullying. And I mean, I just accepted the bullying, the degrading as part of that's me being in the military.
Yeah.
So when you are in that situation, you can't escape.
No.
You are there daily encountering that. So when you get out, you are so right on, Marie, that there is this whole new world out there. And many of them, because men know, are taken advantage of right away.
Yeah.
Right away, because they know most women vets are treated this way. And so where can they go to breathe? I think that's the first thing to do. I mean, I don't know. I know I saw the pictures of your home that you guys built.
Cottage.
The cottage, yes.
Yeah, it's a smaller version of what the big house is.
Well, we didn't build it. We actually remodeled it. It's a 1950s plus house, and we found it through another nonprofit, and it worked out. So we were able to obtain it, and then we had it gutted with Habitat for Humanity, and cleaned it up and put all new in, and the community supported it. That's the most humbling thing. Is that the public, had the buy-in to help our women veterans. And that was what was most important to me as a woman veteran.
Right. And the thing is that it's not just walls. I mean, you took care of all the little details that makes it look like a home.
Exactly.
And not an institution,
right?
Not feeling like you're just in there for a handout.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you had mentioned that you have computers that you provide so that they can use it for
resumes.
Yeah. And now, do you also? You said something about transportation that it's in a bus line, and so they have safe environments too. Yeah.
I mean, we were donated a vehicle for the use of the cottage. And so, once the women have passed a background check and driver's license, and, they'll be able to utilize it as a group to go shopping or help each other get to work, but one person will own the vehicle because it's owned by us. But it's something that we felt was a necessity. So as long as they have a good driving record and no DUIs, and we're not that crazy,
Right.
we'll be able to assist them that way. If not, then they'll face a different circumstance, whether they're taking the local bus or getting the you know transit personnel or whatever we find. So
Yeah.
they have to be vetted in order to drive.
Right.
Well, we're there to facilitate services for them.
Right.
We're there because we want them to succeed, and we
Exactly.
want them to pay it forward. Once they leave there, we want to make sure that they have skin in the game as well, because
Right.
in life you have to earn certain things in order to value them.
Mhm.
So we're there to support them, and we wanted them to be able to live there. Um, Kind of carefree, that they can devote the time to their healing, to their studies, to their work.
But also
And
saving.
so, well, we just wanted to make sure that they're in a good place. And we figured that if the place they were living was nice, they would take care of it. They would take pride in it. And
Exactly.
it would teach them to take pride in themselves as well,
Right.
that they
Right.
to have value, that, hey, I must be worth something, that people are willing to do this for me. So I have to
Right.
do
Yeah.
the best I can to move forward.
Yeah. This is not a classified as a quote shelter, which we want to make everybody aware of.
Right.
Some shelters that we visited, they can have like 4 bunk beds in one room and 8 people sleeping there. It's not a place that really people thrive in.
No.
So, the whole house and home mentality is that you're worthy enough, like Marie said, but it is a program in which we will help facilitate fixing, whether it be their credit, getting them a job. Is it they're going through the VA system? I mean, right now we are not funded by anybody. We are 100% fundraiser organization. The VA had a program for transition support, but they closed that February before we opened, so we couldn't even apply. It might reopen in the next 3 to 5 years. We don't know. So for us, this is something that we are funding 100% through fundraising, the house and on all the other programs that we have. So, it's important for us that, we give these women their a new start, but they also have, like Marie said, skin in the game. So it's not where you can just come in and do nothing. You have to
Exactly.
work, you have to have the buy-in, you have to save money. That's part of the criteria because we want you to leave, right? And the only way we can help you to ensure that after us, you're in a great place is if you have some cash flow to get your first and last. And so that's the whole point, is
Right.
giving people that second chance. So, it's not a matter of them coming here and being on vacation for 90 days and then leaving is still in debt. That's not what we're about.
Right. Right. Okay. So when do you have it set up to where they have goals? Like you take them in, you obviously get them checked and everything like that, and make sure. Do you have a criteria that they have to have goals and like their medical? You said that. So what happens if they decide not to?
Well, that's why we have a lot of lawyers who have looked at our paperwork and what
Oh,
they
good.
sign. So I mean, we want to protect them as well as protecting us, obviously,
Mhm.
right? So we'll know right off the bat, here's the goal. You have to have a job if you don't have one already. You have to save, let's say 50% of your stuff has to go into the account, right?
Mhm.
Because they're never going to get ahead. We're not here for them to kick it and think that they can go on a shopping spree because we're taking care of all their home needs financially, rent,
Right.
lights, food. That's not what it's about. So, we'll know right away if they don't want to come to the house because this is not a halfway house. It's not for addiction facility. There's enough of those places out there, whether you're veterans or not. This one
Yeah.
particular is just for women veterans who are down on their luck. Some of them might have had a divorce, got kicked out, might have had a boyfriend, got kicked out. We don't know. So
Right.
each goal is going to be separate and different, but with the same generalized theme. So the program technically is 90 days. That's the initial agreement. Okay. So the first 2 weeks, we have a clause in there that if it's not working out, we can ask you to leave, right? So, and that's what the VA does. The VA doesn't hold anything against you if it doesn't work out for the first 2 weeks. We've talked to other people who are VA funded. So what we're doing is that we are trying to mirror what the VA expects. So when we hopefully get VA support, we're not changing midstream for anybody, right?
Right.
So 90 days is the minimum to help somebody. And let's just say people need more. Well, after 90 days, you can reapply for another 90 days up to a year. And a year is extended circumstances, whether you're going to school and you're completing a job skill, being retrained at the junior college or whatever, one of these technical college programs that we have locally that will help support that as well. Or you need to get more money for your first and last and to pay off your debt or your credit card. So each one will be reviewed independently, but that's the theory based on it.
Okay, cool. Because as you know, that with and you mimic those around you. So if you're surrounded by, I believe, positive, hardworking, wanting to be successful people, then they will also encourage each other to grow and
Right.
continue on too.
Well, it's like you said, you realize through doing this podcast that there's other people, that you're not alone. There's other veterans who've gone through similar storylines. And I think, when we mentioned earlier, you and I, before we started, is that a lot of women live in the dark closet, if you will, about feeling bad about themselves or feeling like they're the only ones and feeling like they have nobody to talk to. Nobody's going to understand, and that it only happened to them. And unfortunately, as a society, we leave our women there with not a lot of unity, and so we isolate ourselves even more so. So the fact is that you'll live with other women veterans who will have similar history, because you're going to be in the same place, but different experiences, that hopefully you will draw on that, and people will be able to validate and also support and help, and you'll make different friends from it for lifelong, right? As you go through the journey together.
I think that's great. Now, you said this is the cottage. So you have a property that I understand that you're going to build a center, or what would you?
So we started out purchasing this piece of property where we were going to build Ashley's house. And of course, you can have all the most wonderful plans, but somehow the cities and the government have a different idea of what it's going to take to put it there. So for 2 years now, almost 2 years, we've been annexing to the city, having our permits revoked because they changed the code on this or that. We had the GC that was working with us got very sick, and so we could no longer use him. And so we had to get a new GC, and along with that comes everything else that the GC does. So we have the property, we own the property, we have all the drawings, we have all the needed stuff for the permit. This house is going to be 4,000 square feet. It's 2 floors. Well, the whole house is accessible, but the 2 bedrooms downstairs with a master bedroom downstairs is totally accessible, ADA compliant. And we have an elevator in the house. So if there's anybody with disabilities, they can still go upstairs, downstairs, but the fully ADA rooms are downstairs. We made sure that we have a library, an office, a conference room, all those things that you really need in a home like this. And we wanted to give the women their own bedroom, so to speak, not necessarily a large room, but their own private room, so that it would be their space. That's not the case with the cottage. In the cottage, they have to share a bedroom. But we just, like I said, we just started out with this big house. And because we ran into all these problems, when the opportunity came along for us to purchase this home, we grabbed it because we're really very anxious to get the program going,
Right.
start making a difference, you know. Talk is cheap, you know, you have to get
Yeah.
the work done. And
Yes.
so we are thrilled that we were able to do. Of course, again, nothing comes planned. We thought it would be like a paint job and here and there, but as it turned out, we had to take it down to the studs and basically build it up. So it's been a great community effort. Um, Wonderful, wonderful supporters. Um, but now we're ready and we're waiting for those women that can take advantage of this opportunity. And like I said, we're open for business. We
Mhm.
just need to get the word out.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, speaking of getting the word out, how would are you just taking veterans from Florida, or are you taking them all over the United States?
Well, I mean, for us right now, we don't have the position to deny anybody, but obviously we know that some areas have no support, and so it's really rough when you live in one area and say, "Well, my area doesn't have anything." So we acknowledge that, but so we'll take anybody from anywhere, but they have to get to us.
Mhm.
I mean, we're not that big of an organization that we can fly somebody in from Alaska or California for them to live with us.
Mhm.
So there are other entities that we could help with the resource to probably help them to get them to us. Because if you're truly homeless, there are entities out there that will bring you here to us that we found out. But they have to be willing to come to our town, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is to we have connections here. We can get them. We can help them get jobs. We can help them, you know, with services that they need.
right.
Uh, we can't necessarily do that if they moved out of the area, you know.
Right. I
And
mean, they might
Right.
want to move out later, but if they come here to get back on their feet, then they can return home, 6 months or whatever later if that's what they want. But for us, we're just not a matter of, let's just say you only do 90 days, 6 months, or a year. Regardless, we want to follow them when they leave. We're not going to
Right.
open up the door and say, thanks, give me back my key. For us, we want to make sure, especially if they're local, we can help them find a place. Even the VA has a program, the VASH section of the HUD-VAS. If as long as you have an honorable discharge, there's a program where if we find a single room house, I mean bedroom or whatever, or a studio that somebody's willing to rent, you have to give the woman veteran a year contract, and the VA will pay for that monthly lease for a year. So
Wow.
we can help them get back on their feet even more after our program and get them situated someplace else if they choose. So that's something that we would be able to do locally. And I'm sure we could probably, if they want to go back home, we contact the VA wherever they're from. And because a program is not our VA, it's any VA,
yeah, it's a
so,
federal
but
program.
we have entities here that are always giving rid of, great furniture. And there's a program here that offers a warehouse full that will help veterans get back on their feet with furniture. So, like I said, it's not just taking them in the immediate and then getting them done and then leaving them without any resources once they
Right.
quote done. We want to follow them and get them situated, make sure they got their first, last month, their lights and everything situated.
Right. Oh, that sounds wonderful. You know what? I have somebody that just joined our audience. His name is Joseph, Joseph Barnett, and he actually does a program. Hey, Joseph, these young ladies, you guys need to connect because they work with women veterans on. I'll hook you guys up. You're going to love it. You're going to
Great.
love it, Joseph.
Wonderful.
Another
We're always,
resource for you.
yeah,
He-
we're always looking for partners.
yeah.
Most
Well,
entities get very guarded because they think they're taken from their supply chain, if you will. And it's
mhm.
very disturbing to me as a veteran because no one entity can do it all. Absolutely not. We
Mm-mm.
have gaps everywhere. And then that's where people have to pick up and say, hey, I know about X, I can only do this, but we can resource out and maybe help you through them and then make that picture whole. But there's some entities that don't feel that way and they just hang up on you. Trust me, it's happened.
Oh, I know. And that's what's sad, is because what are you really doing it for? That's where I start questioning.
Right.
Yeah, Joseph, he's outside of DC.
Oh.
And so he has a program that he's been struggling and trying to get going. But in the meantime, he has helped a lot of veterans. And so I'll definitely get you guys' information back and forth so that you got another connection that's over that way. And maybe you guys can definitely do some stuff for helping each other. So.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love the ability to connect with other organizations, because I use some of the organizations that I have met through the years, and we resource. Sometimes we can't help, but they can help if they're closer or they have a different mission that maybe that particular veteran is in need for. So I always like connecting, you know?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, people find us from Texas and other states, and we help them if we can over the phone, whether it be after they, they prove they have to be vetted to prove that they're a veteran. But, we'll reach out and give them Walmart gift cards or get their tires changed because they reached out and they found us. Mm-hmm. And so we're not just supporting Florida. We're supporting if they can help us and reach out.
Right. And that's the thing. I don't know how if it's ever going to be done, but I'm hoping one day that there is a list of what's what, I mean, in each state that you can contact, because a lot of them you can contact and no, we don't do that. And literally will hang up on you.
Granny.
It would be wonderful to put a book together. I mean, a resource book.
Exactly.
And you could do it digitally, you could do it anyway, but where you could actually go through the index and see, homeless, blah, 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 and list anyone in every state or every area that would support that. Or whatever, job seeking, health issues. There's so many programs, even VA programs that veterans don't know about. And the only way they learn is by being together with other veterans that know of the program.
Well, some VAs are not all the same.
They aren't. And that's another thing that we are trying to bring to light, is that there is not, they have a veterans book, right? It says, here's your benefits.
Yeah.
It doesn't even cover even half of the benefits available. And you have to find out by talking to another veteran that says, wait a minute, I get this. You should be able to. And so...
And not only that, but from what I've seen, every VA is different. It's potluck. Whoever you get, that's going to, if there's someone in that particular VA that takes on your case and is willing to help you and walk you down and get you the stuff, you're going to do a lot better than if you are in a VA where they're just processing the paper.
Yep. And that's the problem. That is
not all VA has all the type of providers. So you'll have resources that are, my friend lives in Utah and they have a excellent women veterans program there. And they bring women veterans and they give them retreats and they send them on motorcycle trips or horseback riding trips. And this VA here in Florida, they want to make sure that they know that they offer baby showers. And that has gotten me in their face, right? And I'm like, I don't think that's what women veterans really need. You might throw that out, but there's so many there's so many VAs that are doing something different with their quote VA veteran women's program, and you want to offer baby showers. Well, I'm not pregnant, so what are you doing for me?
Yeah. Exactly. And then also the medical end, because well, we could probably go on about that.
You could probably do a whole just on that.
I do it all the time. So I don't want to get off on that. But because there are some that are good VAs and there's some that definitely need to be
step up their game.
It needs to be on a national level. That's the end result.
Yes.
You know?
Well, the VA here is already told us that they're going to work with us. If we get a woman veteran and they're not in the system, we're going to be able to get them to the right person. It's like Marie said, we're facilitating. We do not have any paid professionals. You know, we will give them the resources and get them there, but they have to do it on their own, right?
Right.
So if they don't have that proverbial skin in the game, this is not going to work, right?
Right.
So we'll have management classes that'll be offered through somebody who's a volunteer, you know, if you need, you know, help with that, you know, but we're not medicating, we're not counseling, we're not doing any of that. We are literally giving them a home that is built with love, and it is safe, it is clean, it is healthy. And, you know, that's what we're hoping that they're going to care about and say,
Right.
okay, fine, you're not alone. We're going to help you. We're going to walk you through it, but we can't do it for you. We're not going to make you. So if you're not going to be that buy-in, we're going to know from the interviews.
Right.
Once we talk to them and we pass out our info, you know, they're going to know that if you're here for a mini vacation, this is not for you.
Oh yeah,
because our donors pay for this. We have to, as Marie says, be good stewards of our money. So, you know, this is not a vacation.
Well, and the accountability also, you know, has got to be, you know, high on the thing because, you know, homelessness, I think is an issue all in itself. But when you have been in the military and have been homeless, it seems a little bit, I don't know, I'm just going by my experience. Kathryn, you can maybe say something, but it hits you a little bit harder because, you know, I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
I should not even be homeless at all. I should not be sleeping in my car. I should not be going into the gas station to have to clean up.
Yeah.
This, you know, I'm ashamed of myself. What is wrong with me? You know, and then you do that whole self-blaming thing.
Right.
And so to even have something like this available is a big game changer because it's not a handout.
Nope.
But it is a handout, but it's not.
It's a hand up. We're not, we, that's what you say. We don't say it's a handout. It's a hand up. If you're looking for a handout, don't stop because we're going to help you with a hand up. That's the difference. Pick you up off the floor, shake you off and say, okay, let's get going. Let's get you to a better place in the next 6 months, you know?
Right. And I think that's the big issue is that, you know, I'm not, if I was there, I would not feel, I mean, I would feel ashamed, but I would come in with my head up.
Yeah. You got to feel understood. This is not a government entity that is what I feel it has to do it. Like it's a checkbox. Nobody has to do this in our organization. We want to do it. So therefore you got to know from the start that we value you and understand the difference, right?
Right.
So you should be, you know, understanding, and I don't want to say grateful, but, you know, grateful in the fact that somebody's there not wanting anything but to help you.
Right. Not take advantage of you.
Exactly.
Not use you.
Right.
There's no alternatives.
Yeah. I mean, it has security cameras, you know, we have, you know, locked doors, you know, all that stuff to make sure they're taken care of and they feel safe. And, you know, it's also for accountability, you know, for each other. And you know, so, you know, we just hope that women, you know, once we finally get our message out, we just sent everything to the VA, which they have pushed that out to 250 social workers in our area. Because for us, until we had a brick and mortar, you can't apply for grants. You can't apply for support because they don't believe you until you actually have a real brick and mortar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can see that too. Yeah.
I mean, it's the hardest thing too, you know, because for years we've been fundraising and stuff, and we could have done more, but we didn't have the funds, and everything we were raising for was for this project.
Right.
You know? So it's hard that as a small nonprofit, there's very little out there. If you're not willing to work and move your butt and just work hard at fundraising, you're not going to get money, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Right. And that's the other thing that I thought was kind of unique is that you guys are doing it. You're not taking out credit. It's whatever you get in, that's what you got. And,
We
and
can't
that's,
take out credit, Granny. We're 100% nonprofit 501c3 that has no credit because you're 100% fundraising. You have no consistent intake of monies. It's all subjective. So
right.
you don't qualify for a loan. And the thing is, what's crazy is that, we got this house because the prior owner, as I said, was a nonprofit and she held the mortgage, or we wouldn't have even been able to do that.
Yeah, because we didn't want to use the money that we had saved for the other house,
No.
Right.
We didn't
Exactly.
want
That
to.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
As we
I think
raise
it's
money,
cool.
we will build the house and we will continue to spend what we can until we get more to finish the other house, the home built from ground up.
See, that makes sense because you're not beholden to anybody else. Nobody can say, "Well, you can't have that vision, Marie."
Right.
That's too big of a dream
God
for you to
forbid if
achieve.
somebody said that to Marie. We call that lock and load.
I kind of have a feeling on that.
First of all, Marie is like, how tall are you, Marie?
4'8".
Okay, so let me just point this out to your listeners. Marie, not only you said was a veteran, and she probably doesn't want me to say this, but not only is she for something, she walks with 2 walking canes, sticks. She's not 100% able-bodied. She was struck by polio as a kid and manifested later. And my point being is this: she does more than any able-bodied veteran supporter that I know of. Okay. And so how could you not follow her when you see her that every step she takes is difficult? And she actually broke her toe a couple months ago. And she has to have surgery next month. And she's still moving forward. And she has such a mindset that, I'm on my bad days, I think of her and it just, it's no comparison. I look, I didn't get to tell you this, but I'd rather go to war than be a business person. But she's really good at it, but I'm just saying she's for something, handicapped, and she's doing all this. You know what I'm saying? How can we not back her?
Right. And you got on the fundraising just a little bit. You have something going on this weekend. And so let's talk about that because the community is obviously very huge in backing up your vision by just what's happening already and having the VA support and all the other probably family and friends and new friends. What is the projection for the rest of this year as far as?
So there is not a month that goes by that we don't have some form of a fundraiser. It's just in our DNA at this point. But the event that we're having this weekend is our annual Orchid Gala. It was born from an event that I did when I first moved to the Villages. Was one of my first fundraisers. And as a result, I had invited some veterans. And at that time, there was only one woman veteran that came. And she was paralyzed. She was in a wheelchair. She was in the Air Force and had an accident. And her husband built her a greenhouse. And she started raising orchids for her mental health. And I thought, that's a really neat thing. It acknowledges, something that a woman veteran is doing without it being everything red, white, and blue with every veteran event that we have here. And that's not taking anything away from them, but I wanted something different that would stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning, I'm not going to lie to you, most of the veterans that came were males because finding female veterans is like pulling teeth. Yeah, I mean, it was just really hard to find them. But over the years, it's gained popularity and respect of the community. And now it's our annual event that funds strictly women veterans issues. So whether it was the house that we built for Sergeant Pam Kelly, whether it's the honor flight that we helped raise money to do an all-women veteran honor flight from the state of Florida, whether it's the Ashley's house and cottage, it has to do with women veterans. So it's all about the women, from the guest speakers to the everything. To the gifts that we give them, to whatever we plan. It's all about honoring them and showing them love and respect.
So like she said, 9 years ago, she had one. So this year we have probably close to 60 women veterans that are attending.
Wow.
And we did something really different this year. We actually really worked hard at trying to bring them from all over Florida, right? Because even though we have a big, large number of women veterans in the villages, they are a group on themselves. And most of those women veterans don't need a lot of support because they can afford to live in the villages. There's nothing bad about it. It's just true. So anyway, we have veterans coming in from Miami, Florida. We have veterans coming in from the East Coast, West Coast, Jacksonville, St. Augustine.
Wow.
We have a couple of vets coming in from Tennessee, North Carolina, and even Utah. Of course, I might know them, but point being is, it's an opportunity to acknowledge them. And we're doing a major fundraiser that's helping us with this. Is we're putting together an all-women veterans only calendar.
Oh, that's an excellent idea.
Yeah. So this calendar is my baby. I wanted it 2 years ago, and it's been a hard deal to try to get our women veterans involved to get the photo shoot. And so we decided this year, instead of just doing a one night Saturday, we made it a weekend event. And so we're bringing women in from Miami, from Utah, from Tennessee, we're bringing all these women veterans in to make this calendar. And it's going to highlight that we're still serving, right? But the most thing is that we're working with another woman veteran nonprofit called She Served Initiative. She has her own business and she photographs women veterans, and that's what she does. So she's coming in from Georgia. She's doing our photo shoots. And then after all this is done next year, early next year, late, whatever this year, I'll start putting together all these photos and compiling this calendar to sell next year for 2025. It'll be an 18-month calendar. But what we're going to do is we're going to highlight in the calendar our women veterans' history and service. So it's not just Easter Sunday. It's the first Marine veteran. It's Loretta Wash, the first Navy veteran to enlist in a non-nursing capacity, right, in 1918 or whatever. So it's going to be filled with, women who served from the Spanish-American War, Korea, World War II, everything into our present. So each dates will have something. Each month is going to illustrate not only a current woman veteran who served and what they're still serving in our community as nonprofits and leaders, but also the history within the months.
Right. That's so cool. I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a calendar of women's veterans calendar. I have seen what do you call it? Firemen, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at a chat here. So I want to make sure I acknowledged it. But that is, I want one.
We'll get with you. You have my contact. Please text me afterwards your info.
Okay. Yes, I definitely will. I want to be a part of this. It sounds great. And I will offer up anytime you guys have something that's going on. Let me know. I'll add it to my podcast.
Well, I want to make sure that we understand too. I don't know if we covered this and it just hit me because we're like that. But, our house called Ashley's House and Ashley's Cottage is actually named after First Lieutenant Ashley White, who was killed in Afghanistan in 2011. She was a part of a secret pilot program that the American people were not aware of, where they put our women with special forces into the villages in Afghanistan, because we learned from Iraq that obviously our male counterparts were not able to converse with the female population for culturally sensitive reasons, right? Just talking to a woman would get our male counterparts shot. Okay.
Right.
So they decided that they were going to go ahead and try this out, but they didn't let the public know per se, right? But they asked for volunteers. Ashley herself was like 5 feet. She was small.
5'3".
5'3". And she was somewhere and they asked and she volunteered. She went through the training, went through the program. And then so she was a MSC officer, like, which means she was medical support. And then her family knew that she was going to be going over. She was newly married, and they thought they were going over to put up hospital tents and do medical, because she could not even tell her family what she was really doing. So just a couple months into her service, she was killed with 2 special forces in a daisy chain of IEDs during the maneuvers inside the villages. So she was killed. And there's a book written about her life called Ashley's War. Before COVID, there was talk about a movie from the book that Reese Witherspoon is supposed to be playing Ashley. And you can still find that somewhere. It's still being talked about. It's not necessarily shut down yet, but we're waiting for that. That would kick everything up a notch. That would be awesome. But Marie knew the author of the book. And through some other people, we were able to connect. They connected for us with the mother. And we met the mother and we asked her, essentially, could we use Ashley's name and likeness for our house and our project, to give our women hope, and to know that we stand behind them and we believe in them and there's courage and everything, right? And she said yes. So this is why we have Ashley's house and then now Ashley's cottage. And her mom has come down here from Ohio. And she has been part of our first annual gala. She was here in May when we had our ribbon cutting. And so, we've been very blessed with the family and the support from even Ohio and local. And through our crossings, ironically, we've met a staff sergeant who was her NCO. Who's living here in Florida that was from Ohio. It's crazy. I've met her neighbor at another event in Eustis who was vacationing, and they came up. We have our cars wrapped in our program. So Marie has all of our programs, which we have service animals, which we pay to raise, and train, and then we give them to a needy vet. We have mobility and independence, where either we give something to get them back into more active lifestyle. So it's only one a year because they're very expensive. So we either give a modified motorcycle, somebody who's lost a limb who still wanted to ride, believe it or not. We give a track chair or a heavy beach chair wheels, that go in the sand. So it's not just a regular wheelchair. It's something that is made and fits them particularly. And then we also have Veterans in Need, where we support them if they reach out. Like they said, they need to make a bill payment, or they're down on their luck and they can't afford a tire. They've had a flat, or, they need to make, get some food for the baby and diapers. So, those are the 4 major programs that we support as our nonprofit. So it's not just our women veterans program. So, Marie has built this up from 9 years. It's been incredible what she's done. Like she said, when she finds a need, she just doesn't put it on the back burner. She is right there leading from the front. As I said in an interview, if you Google our names, you'll see all of our interviews. She's been highlighted locally on Channel 6, which is a local news about getting results, because she is in the community getting results for our veterans. Channel 2 did a story on her. This is all this year, did a story on her in the organization for Community Champion, because she is actively working for our veterans and not getting paid a nickel. There is no hidden money going anywhere. We are a 100% volunteer organization, and she works tirelessly. And like I said, she's my family. She's not just a friend. She is my free boss. But I don't know where it's crazy.
I mean, I think it's very important to be transparent when you're dealing with other people's money. And so all our tax returns are 990s. They're all out there for anybody to check whenever they want to. You know, we work with a CPA firm. We want to make sure that, I mean, 97 cents out of every dollar that we raise goes into the programs, you know, and considering, I mean, we have no salaries to speak of. We just have certain fixed things like insurance and things like that. But for the most part, everything goes right back into the programs to use for our veterans. So
Tell them about the 2 organizations that they can look us up at.
yeah, so people can go into Charity Navigator, you know, I mean, any of the charities we're recorded there, they have our financials that people can look at. And I really believe it's important when we give veterans all-terrain chairs or service dogs. I always try to do it in an event where the people that support those programs are present so that they can see what it is that we're doing, and know where their money is going, you know, I mean.
Yeah, because you know, not to say that there's so many that you don't have any clue, you know, that you donate to, and so I definitely say, you know, support your local programs, because
and people have to educate themselves and they have to look into where they're donating to, you know, because I mean, you hate to say it, but there are
crooks
people out there that will take something that is not necessarily theirs, you know. And
that's
so
why it's important that before we go, I just want to make sure that they can look us up at, you know, Candid GuideStar, where we're platinum level, which is the highest level of transparency. So, you know, when you're looking at a charity that you want to make sure that you're giving to the right group, that's one.
Charity Navigator is another one.
Yeah. And so we're a 4-star. We're the highest. There's only 4 stars. We're a 4-star. And so it's important that people know that, like Marie says, we are 100% transparent. We don't hide anything. All the financials are there, and you can see what's raised, what goes in, and where it goes.
I love it. I'm just blown away, first off, because I've been doing this for a while, okay, and talking to other vets that are doing programs to help vets, because and you know, Kathryn, you're her VP, so you're giving that, but dang, Maria, you should be you should be a vet, because you're understanding the needs more than some veterans themselves. Let's put it that way.
It's about educating yourself. You know, you have to educate yourself on what's really happening out there.
And I don't think people want to know. And it's amazing that you are putting in that work and that effort. I mean, I'm not going to get teary-eyed. I can't.
She's awesome.
Because it is a very, it's very important to take care of us.
Yep.
And if you don't hear it enough, I have to say thank you. Thank you so much for doing that on behalf of my sisters, my fellow veterans, because it's a rarity. And, you know, please continue on. And anything that I can do to promote you guys. And like I said, I know some people, and whatever the dream is, let's go for it.
Yep, we definitely have to move forward.
I am so excited. So you got this weekend. Next year, I want an invite.
Absolutely.
I want to come and spend some time with you gals. I think it'll be so much fun.
Yes, we try. You know, all I can say is that we definitely love our vets. Definitely want to make a difference in their lives in a very positive way, and we hope that we are doing that, and we continue to do that to all our vets. You know, but especially our women veterans, because they've been on the back burner for way too long, and it's time that they get. Yep, it's time that they get the recognition they need and the services they need. And I think if we're all work together towards that goal, we can make that happen.
Oh, I agree completely. Is there any other kind of closing comments that you would like to make?
I would love to reach out to anybody that has that wants to support us. there's always room for additional financial support because we're constantly doing stuff. COVID was really bad for us because we're too small to get any kind of assistance. So, and we lost volunteers, we lost supporters. So we're kind of rebuilding from that. And so if people want to check us out, they can check our website. I'm only a phone call away. Anyone that may have any questions, both Kathryn and I and any of our board members are more than happy to provide any information to anyone. If you need help, just because it's not one of our programs doesn't mean that we might not be able to support you or help you get to the right person or the right resource that may help you. So reach out. And that's it. We're here for, I'm here for the veterans, so.
And I know she said looking at the website, but just so you know, the website is villagersforveterans.org. So villagers, one word, villagersforveterans.org. You can see everything that we're doing in our current programs and what we're, who we are. You can look at us and reach out to us and
Instagram.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram. She's all over that.
You can check our YouTube channel, see all the videos that we have, all the things that we've recorded for the past few years. Get to know us a little bit better.
Thank you so much, Granny Lisa, for having us on.
Are you kidding? I mean, you guys have touched my heart today, and I love doing this because it's really, it touches my heart to see people like you that not only for women, but also for men, because there's a vet is a vet. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yes, we have different issues and stuff like that, but a veteran is a veteran. And they have been signed up to do a job, a commitment. And I always end up the show with one question. So, Kathryn, I'm going to ask you this because you're the veteran.
Okay.
If you were called back to service under this administration, would you?
To me, it's not the administration, it's the need. So, I joined a couple administrations ago and I survived, different administrations. So for me, it's the service. And the answer is yes, because again, as you said, a veteran is a veteran and I'm serving our veterans. I'm not serving, in hindsight, quote, the administration. I understand he's my leader, but I'm there to be the best nurse in the operating room to take care of our combat wounded, and I would be there for my veterans. So the answer is absolutely yes.
And now I'm going to share why I asked that question.
Okay.
You probably have heard a lot of hearsay that veterans are against this. So I won't serve under this person or that, right?
Yeah.
And that's
who are we hurting? Who are we hurting?
Well, and the thing is that I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like anybody that I know has veterans. So where is that coming from? Is that just a rumor from somewhere else, or is it really true on how our veterans feel? And I have to say about 95%, maybe even a little bit higher, have said the answer that you have. The only other ones that I have had a no on was because of physical. But if they didn't have the physical, they would be right there. Yeah. And that it did not have to do with the current chain of command, that it had to do with supporting our country and our veterans.
Correct.
So, when you sign on the dotted line, I mean, you don't sign, like, I'm only going to go and defend this group or that group. You're going there to defend Americans and veterans and, civilians as well. So
I think the other issue is that maybe some people didn't enjoy what they did and they wouldn't do that. So there's a different look on that. But for me, I joined because of MASH and what MASH did and what, so, I would jump at it. Like I said, it was rough. I'm not saying it was all roses.
Right.
I have issues, but do I think I played my part and helped our fellow women and men in combat?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. I've even talked to Vietnam veterans who would rightfully have
an opportunity,
to
say no.
and much more.
Right.
And I have not met one yet that has said no, he would not.
And I like to say, because if I have Vietnam veterans out there listening, I just want you to know that I thank you for your service and welcome home. Because of your sacrifice and what the American people did to you, they have learned and they have given us so much in the later wars, in the Afghan and the Iraq. And so I thank you because the American people have seen that wrongdoing, which you did not deserve. And I just want to say thank you, brothers and sisters, for your service, and welcome home again.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Well, you ladies have a blessed day, rest of the night. I appreciate you being here. And
Same here.
And we appreciate you having us. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Go ahead and take you out of the room and start our goodbye music. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, that was so wonderful. I'm so teary-eyed. It's crazy on what people do. When they say we've lost our humanity, that is a lie from hell, because there are great people out there. And I want you to know, if you are contemplating on ending your life today, there's absolutely no reason to do it. None. You are valued. You are important. I love you. And you can say, how can you love me? You don't know me. I love you because you served. I don't care when you served. We have a kinship. We belong together. And there's others that believe just like me. So please do not take that step in taking your life. Reach out. You know the numbers. You have family. You have friends. Use your buddy system. Don't give in. Don't give in. Stay strong. I love you. Have a good night.
There's a storm on the horizon, and my adrenaline's running wild, but I got my brother standing next to me. So praise the Lord and pass the ammo. Stars, stripes, and camo. There's a price to be paid to stay free. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to fight. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to cry. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to die. I do it for my family and do it for my pride. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to fight. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to cry. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to die. I do it for my family and do it for my pride. Laid up in this bunker, rosary on my neck. I do this for my family and the colors I respect. Ain't forgotten that those cowards took the towers down. You can bet I ain't gonna hesitate to put them in the ground. Clutching on my rifle, ammo by my side. Clutching on my Bible, I do it for my pride. I'm trained to be fearless, I fear the unknown. Give my love to my family and I'll see them when I'm home. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to fight. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to cry. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to die. I do it for my family and do it for my pride. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to fight. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to cry. Pass me the ammo, ain't afraid to die. I do it for my family and do it for my pride. Proud of my country, it's the land of the free. Your enemies, my enemies, together we bleed. Your sister, your brother, your cousin, whatever. Your family's my family in the trenches together. Pistol by my side with my rosary beads. Bible by my ammo, man, I hope he's watching me. Overseas, overnight, if I die, I know it's right. Freedom ain't free, pass the ammo, let's ride.